Most shoppers know that they're being watched. Security cameras are common in stores. But did you know that some other cameras may be watching the way you do your shopping? Believe it or not, there's an actual science involved in watching you buy and trying to make you buy more. As Bill Ritter found, it's a high-stakes, high-tech hunt for information on how to make you shop till you drop.
So I'm going to do one or two on this here.
You're watching an undercover mission. The equipment, a dozen cameras, and 280 hours of videotape.
Okay, we got a 10 o'clock start, so here we go.
The undercover team, 8 men, 2 women, armed only with a clipboard. Their mission, to solve an old mystery that's baffled store owners since the dawn of the first five and dime. Why do people buy?
Okay, I think we're going to grab her. She's coming into the store at 10:49:25.
Looking for our size.
And she's in the handbag section.
The operatives you're watching are actually shopping researchers, and they're following the customers, logging in code every item picked up or passed by, caressed or cast aside.
She touched one. No take.
A map of the site keeps track of the shopper's journey.
No, she's in the shoe section. This is a good section because I can hide.
Again, the shoppers have no idea their every move is being videotaped. All this espionage is the brainchild of this man, Paco Underhill, a highly paid and highly prized consultant to many of the country's retail giants, like the Gap, Starbucks, Radio Shack, and McDonald's. Paco and his company, envirosel, study the shopping habits of humans. He calls it retail anthropology, and we consumers in the mall are his gorillas in the mist.
There's some magic that happens on the floor of a store. Some of it is magic, some of it is science, and that's what I've been trying to discover.
What Paco's clients have discovered is that in the high-stakes world of retail, his advice can make the difference between success and failure. Now, for the first time, Paco is sharing his marketing science in a new book, Why We Buy. It's research gleaned from 20 years of watching us to figure out what it takes to make us part with our money.
Our shopping experience really starts out here in the parking lot.
The campaign to get us inside, says Paco, starts outside.
This paint job, as simple as it is, simply says there's a connection between this doorway and that parking lot.
Once inside a store, Paco says, we shoppers need a landing strip, some space to slow down and get into shopping mode.
It takes us a while once we hit that door to downshift.
Paco calls these few feet just inside the front door the decompression zone, and he says every store needs one.
Generally, you can almost sort of mark it with an X on the floor. It's a very definite spot.
He showed me a well-designed decompression zone at a New York store called ABC Carpet and Home. No relation to ABC TV.
It uses its decompression zone well because you walk in the door, you're almost frozen here. You're meant to stop right.
What's this doing for us?
It's going, wow, look at all this stuff. There's
Paco
so
says
much.
offering the consumer anything within the first 10 feet of a store's entrance, no matter how remarkable the bargain or valuable the information, is a lost cause. Everything dies in the decompression zone. Next, Paco's unmasked an unconscious consumer act he calls the invariant right theory. Nearly all of us drift or turn to the right when we enter a store. Watch as these shoppers enter and then go to the right, and go to the right, and go to the right. Retailers can make millions from this rightist behavior because Paco tells them to literally go with the flow. Put the hottest merchandise just to the right of the decompression zone, and then continue this pathway to the right, seducing the customer through the rest of the store. Because getting us to the rest of the store increases the chances that we'll buy something. That's why your local grocer stocks staples like bread and milk in different aisles and towards the back of the store. That forces us to walk past all the other groceries, which improves the odds that we'll buy them. A consumer habit he calls petting is Paco's next discovery. Shoppers love to touch things, pet them.
She likes to touch and pick up, and that's good. That means she's really shopping.
The theory is that the more we can pet and feel products, the more likely we are to buy them. But perhaps Paco's most infamous shopping discovery is, for lack of a daintier phrase, the butt brush theory.
As I stand up at a counter or a display of any kind, there's the amount of time it takes me to get comfortable to make the purchase decision. And I think our butts, not only are they sensitive to touch, but I think they have radar in them. That if you get a little too close to their rear, particularly in a public setting like this, there's an inclination to say, I think I'll move along here.
So let's go to the videotape. Watch as this woman tries to shop an aisle. As she leans to look for a product, she's constantly interrupted by people passing closely behind her behind, until, sure enough, she walks away without buying. The solution, says Paco, is simple: wider aisles. Now, if you're giggling at all this, know that retailers are also laughing, all the way to the bank.
I am surprised by a lot of the data we're getting because, in retrospect, a lot of it is common sense.
David Dworkin is the CEO of the Upton's department store chain. He hired Paco 3 years ago.
The first Upton's that we looked at was an absolute disaster.
And it was clear from Paco's surveillance tapes what was wrong. Overstuffed racks and a shortage of display tables left shoppers unable to pet the merchandise. Narrow aisles between fixtures meant lost sales because of butt brush. And there was no dominant right flow, which left customers, especially women, typical Upton shopper, with little reason to walk through the rest of the store.
We actually switched the men's area with the women's area. Men's had formerly been on the right side of the store. And after we switched, our business actually went up substantially.
According to Paco, since he was hired, Upton sales have jumped 12%. That's millions of dollars. So it's no surprise Upton's brought Paco back to fine-tune its newest store in Boca Raton, Florida. For 3 days, Paco's team videotaped and tailed customers through the store and scrutinized the layout.
Where are the mirrors?
And that's another of Paco's shopping secrets. No mirror, no sale. Later, back in New York, Paco's team analyzed the Upton's video.
One of the problems we identified in...
Then, the following week, Paco briefed Upton's executives. The main problems, he said, cash registers and fitting rooms were too hard for customers to find. But the overall layout, he told them, was working.
The good news is that we're getting close to 40% of the people walking in the door and making the full circuit of the store. Hallelujah.
And that means Paco's undercover work is paying off for retailers.
Why resort to sort of James Bond tactics here? Why do you need all this high-tech gear and apparatus?
If I ask you what you think and I observe what you do, it's often different.
But if your cameras or your undercover shoppers are watching my every move, that's spying.
We aren't interested in what you do. We are interested in what collectively we do.
Am I going to feel somehow like I've been manipulated?
I'm giving you what you want and what you need. I think we have done a good job of making stores better places for people to shop.
And so the next time you're out shopping, take a look around. Is someone tailing you? Did you walk through a decompression zone? Does the store guide you to the right? Are the aisles wide enough? Well, then chances are the store's been visited by Paco Underhill and his secret operatives.
Hugh, I actually try to avoid taking my 4-year-old son to the supermarket because they're following those rules. They put kid cereal and candy at his eye level, you know, knee high.
It is scientific. You know, some of the same research led people to put in chairs for men where women shop. We approve of that, of course.
I'll bet you do. We'll be right back.